Welcome to the Close the Chapter podcast. I am Kristen Boyce, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a private practice, Pathways to Healing Counseling. Through conversations, education, strategies, and shared stories, we will be closing the chapter on all the thoughts, feelings, people, and circumstances that don't serve you anymore and open the door to possibilities and the real you. You won't want to miss an episode, so be sure to subscribe. Welcome to this week's Close the Chapter podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing this with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, all the important people in your life that are on the healing journey and want deeper meaning and purpose and connection in their lives. I hope this serves to aid in the development of going deeper and really freeing yourself from negative beliefs about yourself, the shame, the guilt, the anxiety. And right now, we're all experiencing so much of that because of the uncertainty. And the holidays are going to look different this year. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about 3 steps to really healing yourself and freeing yourself from the anxiety, guilt, and shame. Seems like that's a theme for people all across the globe right now because of the pandemic we're in. And we all need to come together and start changing the conversation around mental health. We are in a mental health crisis. If we don't start talking about it, it's hard to change the culture, the systems, the beliefs. And my heart and my passion, deep calling, is to help people free themselves from the torture in their own heads, from the shame that keeps them small and hidden and feeling like they are a piece of crap and not good enough and defective and that there's something wrong with them, from living in anxiety and fear and then feeling guilty, feeling bad about their choices. There is possibility to freedom and we can heal. Is it going to be an ongoing journey? Yes, I'm still doing it and will continuously be doing the deeper work. So it's not like, oh, I've done the therapy and then it's over. It's a continuous exploration with curiosity about what lies within to free yourself and heal yourself. That sounds so cliche. What I've been doing on the girls' mirrors and for my husband every day and for myself, I've been writing messages with a dry erase marker on their mirror. And it just comes to me like I'll say a little prayer, however you want to do it for yourself. And then I'll write the message on the mirror. And my daughter said yesterday, the message fairy didn't come and leave a message. And she's like, I wonder who the message fairy is. She loves a lot of hearts. And so I do put hearts and XOXO on all my messages. And the day before I had free yourself to be yourself. And if we can come up with little mantras or sayings to help us on this journey, put it up, write it on your mirror, get a dry erase marker, write your kids' messages, write your partner messages, put it up every day and write yourself a message. And so my messages, I just pray I'm a vessel for healing and transformation and change, and to listen to that inner voice the most, because that is the voice that will lead you down the path that you are called to go down. So the messages I have, today's message, the messages I have left are all about seeing my kids, seeing my partner, and speaking into that. And so I just kind of get quiet and still. And then today's message was for one of my kids was, your curiosity is a gift. Follow it and see where it takes you. Your curiosity is a gift. Follow it and see where it takes you. And for my husband, I wrote, it's okay to rest and relax and just be. And so these are messages that speak to me when I'm quiet and when I'm writing and when I'm still. And when I take a deep breath, I'm into the breathing, the square breathing, 4 to 5 deep breaths an hour at least. they they will come. The messages will come to you. And I also write messages of encouragement and acknowledgement. So thank you for all you do for our family. I am so grateful for you. You are cherished. You are loved. You matter. You're important. If I say that you're enough a million times to my family, they're like, I know, Mom. It's so important to communicate that and live that out in your own life. So there's a couple of things before we get into the 3 steps that I want to talk about. One is, have you ever done a word of the year? Like you pick a word that you want to embrace and it's about intention. So I prayed over my word and I was like, okay, for last year, it was, here we go. You ready? Drum roll. I wish I had a drum roll. It was embrace. Embrace. Can you believe that? I picked that word, of course, before the pandemic. And here's what I wrote in my journal. This is January 1st of 2020. So this was before the pandemic hit in February, March timeframe. My word for 2020 is embrace. Embrace the as is, just as things are, the uncertainty, the feelings, the reality. Stop trying to predict, control, and manage the outcome and be present in the moment. Whew. I was doing I went back to just read what I wrote and I thought I had no idea what 2020 would bring. And man, has it been an invitation? And I'm grateful for it. I know there's a lot of emotions, a lot of grief and loss, a lot of anger, sadness, frustration, fear. And I look back and I go, of course I picked embrace. Of course I wanted to accept the as is and uncertainty because here we are. Here's the invitation for me. And for all of us, there's an invitation. Here it is for us to explore and get curious about and embrace. I love the word. Just like, oh, if you could see my face, I'm getting teary eyed. Like, I love that word embrace. And it's about embracing ourselves as we are. It's about embracing discomfort because, man, we don't like to be uncomfortable. And this year has been all about being uncomfortable. We don't know what 1 minute holds from now. We thought we did before because it felt a lot more predictable. But guess what? We really didn't know. We didn't know what it was like before. We thought we did. We really are facing this uncertainty at such a paramount level. And the invitation is for us to embrace it, for us to sit with that discomfort, embrace growth, embrace deeper work, embrace your emotions. Stop eating them, shopping them, getting on social media, binge watching things, wine, whatever. We all have our vices. We have to start feeling them to move through them, just like the waves that they are, in order to get to the other side. So this word for me was about intention, and I invite you to pick a word. I know we're a month away, less than a month away from 2021. I want you to pick a word. I want you to get a piece of paper out, get your journals out, to just sit with it, pray over it, whatever works for you. Get still with it and see what comes through without forcing it, without pushing it, without really trying to make it something. Just allow it to float up. Allow it to float up and out. So my word for 2021, another drum roll, is create. That came super quickly to me when I journaled about it. It was like, okay, well, I guess that's going to be the word for this year. Little did I know that what 2020 held for us. I like the word. It came to me and it felt really connected. I was trying to come up with the right word on it. Really resonated. That's the word for me. And it's about creating connection, create meaning, create a different conversation globally around mental health. It's create whatever is there and make room for creating. I've got a lot going on. And so I need to create more space for, see how I use the word create? There we are. I need to create more space to be able to let that come through. What is the word for you? What is that going to be for you? And that's going to be my intention. Create connection, create meaning, create purpose. What is your intention going to be for 2021? And maybe it's you're going to decide that you're going to look deeper for 2021. You're going to explore with curiosity what lies within. And that's the episode today, what it's all about. Because if you don't, what happens is you don't feel empowered. You don't feel free. You feel lost, stuck, and looping on that anxiety, shame, and guilt. And the only way through, and I'm going to say it, you might not like this answer, and it's the only way through to work through shame, anxiety, and guilt is to get underneath it and figure out what am I feeling and hold that space with compassion and grace. What am I feeling? And those core emotions that every episode I go over these because it's really essential for health and well-being in family systems and within yourself. You can't teach your kids this. They can't tell you how they feel if you're not practicing this, if you're not embracing this, if you're not living this out. The core emotions are anger, which also can be a secondary emotion, which means it kind of covers up some of the more vulnerable feelings. So I invite people to say, and what else do I feel when I'm angry? And what else? So anger, fear, which I see people swimming in right now. These are all universal emotions. So no one gets out of these for free. Everybody has emotions. Even if you don't think they do, they do. Sadness, and I'm seeing a lot of sadness. Sadness over losses, sadness over what was, sadness over losing loved ones, sadness over losing jobs, sadness over their children not having what they normally would have, their friends, their activities, their normal progression in life that we could be a part of, like watching them in these activities. Concerts, there's so much grief and loss that we cannot ignore that we feel grief and loss right now about what was and what we had hoped for and what was supposed to be in our minds, right? Disgust, we feel kind of disgusted with everything. I know people feel disgusted with politics. They feel disgusted with other people's judgments. They feel disgusted with other people's reactions. They feel disgusted with the virus, how people are handling the virus. I mean, the list goes on. I would also invite you to say, what else do I feel when I feel disgust? And chances are you have fear and some sadness coupled with that. Next, we have joy. Joy, again, comes and goes. When we say, just want my kids to be happy, happiness comes and goes, just like any other emotion. Excitement. And the last one is sexual excitement. So if you saw the Disney movie Inside Out, you would not see sexual excitement in the movie. It would have changed the storyline. I highly recommend, again, you watch that movie as a family and begin implementing this in your family system. So, okay, we're ready for the 3 steps. We're going to come up with an acronym so you can remember it. But the 3 steps are key to working through shame, anxiety, and guilt. You have to connect to the core emotions. So number 1 is process. You have to process and connect to these core emotions. You have to explore and get curious. What am I feeling? Where do I feel it in my body? So number 1 is process. And here's what I find oftentimes is skipped. I find that people go to step 3, which I'm going to outline in a minute, instead of starting with step 1. And I'm using steps as a way to help the brain organize itself because it's not so linear. So I'm making this sound like 1, 2, 3. The brain likes 3 things. The brain likes 3 steps. The brain likes to organize itself. And if this is helpful for you to remember, then use the steps. Okay, process. I cannot emphasize this enough. When we're numbing, when we're shutting down, when we're getting activated, when we're moving away from, when we're withdrawing, stonewalling, using rage, we are not processing anything. We are protecting ourselves. Big difference between processing and protecting. Now, we want to thank the job of the protector inside of us because all the protector is doing is trying to keep us safe. And when we feel afraid and we're in fight, flight, or freeze, And then fawn is the fourth one, which a lot of people don't know about. Think of a deer in headlights. Fawn is going along with compliancy in order to keep safe. So when we don't feel safe, we're going into fight, flight, or freeze. And so we're all handling the pandemic in some sort of way with fight, flight, or freeze. Some people are going busy, 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 busy. Some people are shut down and they're like completely just want to lay in bed, or they just, right? It feels so overwhelming. They don't even know where to begin, or they just feel frozen. Like they don't feel like they can move forward. They don't feel like they can move back. And then Fawn says, I'm just going to comply with what everybody says. And I don't feel like I have a voice. Now, I'm not saying some compliance isn't great because we're wearing masks, etc., but we're not processing if I'm protecting myself. I'm in a survival state. And right now, with trauma, this is a global trauma, you're going to see most of us are fight, flight, or freeze or fawn, unless we recognize it and we tend to it and we get curious about what am I feeling and we identify the core emotions, we sit with them, we allow them to come up and out of our nervous system, which means we're expressing those. This is how I would communicate. I feel sad and scared. So that's a more vulnerable way to connect. That's more vulnerable and people can hear us so much better and connect with us. Is everybody going to respond well to us? No. We have to be able to nurture ourselves. So communicating with core emotions, identifying those core emotions are key to moving through. So if I feel shame, which says I'm not enough, I'm going to go, I'm in an inhibitory emotion. I'm in a stuck place. So what am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling so guilty that I'm not doing enough for my parents that are at home and can't see anybody. I feel guilty that I'm not helping my kids with e-learning. I'm giving you examples of e-learning all the time. And I want to break from my kids and I feel guilty about that. I feel anxious over, am I going to get sick or get someone else sick? Now I'm going to say, what am I really feeling? Okay, I'm feeling afraid and I'm feeling sad because I can't see my parents. Or I'm feeling sad because things aren't the same for my kids and they're feeling sad. They miss their friends. They feel afraid too that they're going to get sick and give it to the grandparents. I'm giving you some examples. So we have to explore what lies within. There's grief there. If we don't process those, you will stay stuck in shame, anxiety, and guilt. And then we hold an open-hearted space of compassion for ourselves. And this is really hard because guess what? We are our worst critic. It is so hard for us to be compassionate to ourselves. And it's one of the keys to be able to do deeper work is being kind to yourself and going, okay, sweetie, take a deep breath. You can handle this. And that's really hard for us to do for ourselves because it wasn't done to us. So processing those emotions, write it out to get it out, see a therapist. You know the drill. Do some movement and walking, pet your pet, listen to music. As you know, that's another one to really evoke that emotion and allow it to come up and out. Talk to a friend. There's a plethora of options and breathing is huge. It allows us to regulate through that and tolerate it. We don't want to be uncomfortable. And the truth is, if you don't sit with discomfort, you're not going to move through it. So that moves us to number 2. So we have process. Number 2 is acknowledgement. And I know I've talked about this on previous podcasts. Repetition is good. So you hear things multiple times and your brain starts to wrap around that. So acknowledge the as is, acknowledge what you're feeling, empathize and have compassion with what you're feeling. To pretend you don't feel something or go, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's a code word for no, you're not. Anytime someone says I'm fine, I go, no, really, I really want to know how you're feeling. Fine is disconnect. Fine is protective. Fine is I don't really want to feel and deal. And when we don't want to feel and deal, that's okay. Just know that you're not going to make a whole lot of movement. You're going to be looping. You're going to be stuck. And so we have to acknowledge what we feel and empathize with what we feel. These are the steps not only for yourself, but for your children, for your partner, for your grandkids, for your friends, for your coworkers. It doesn't matter. These are the same steps. But if you're not applying them to yourself, you're going to struggle applying this to somebody else because you're going to go into fix, rescue, save mode, and that does not serve anybody. Processing is what serves people. That's why I'm so passionate about doing deeper work so we can process our thoughts, feelings, body sensations to get through it, to get to the other side. And sometimes we just have to sit with it, right? We have to sit and be with that to explore what's there, get quiet, go within. So process acknowledgement. So we're PA, we're going to go PAP. That's going to be our acronym PAP. PAP, number 3 is possibilities. This is where we can get into after I've processed and acknowledged what I feel, now I have this space freed up in me. My body is free from the tension and tightness. My emotions have been released. Now I can get clarity and step into possibility and problem solving. So then I can go, okay, what are my options on how to deal with this? Okay, I can do video time with my parents. I can process the girls' emotions when they feel sad or angry or afraid or disgusted. Okay, I can do that. So now I can step into possibilities and problem solve. I can't do that first. This is what people do. They're like, problem, 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 solution. For mental wellness, that doesn't work. We can't get to the possibilities and the problem solving without processing it first. So people put the cart before the horse and start offering up, well, when I did this with my parents, here's what I did. Or with my kids, here's what I do. And I'm like, take a deep breath. We just jumped in and try to fix, rescue, and save because you're uncomfortable and want them to feel better. Your intentions are there, positive intentions. It disrupts their process. And the person doesn't feel seen, heard, acknowledged, and understood. It stunts their process. And so when parents jump in with, here's how you solve it, you just get on your computer and XYZ, that may be necessary at times. What I'm saying for the deeper work is let them process, and you're holding the space. And the acronym that I learned that I love is WAIT. Why am I talking? If you start talking and offering solutions, I want you to zip, take a deep breath. Hold, and sometimes I say, I'm so sorry I interrupted because it's all about me and my discomfort and my inner child. I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them to feel shame. I don't want them to feel anxious or guilty. So what do? We try to jump in and rescue them from it. And that is a disservice to ourselves and to our children, our partner, our friendships, our family. Let them process it. You just hold the space. You're off the hook. You cannot fix it for the person. They have to sit in their discomfort just like you have to sit in yours. You're just holding the space and being an empathic witness. And the quote that I say often that I absolutely love and it spoke to my soul is trauma is not what happens to us, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathic witness. That's by Peter Levine. Trauma is not what happens to us, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathic witness. Our job as humans is to be an empathic witness to what we feel and what we hear for pain from other people. That's it. So I might repeat back to someone what I hear. I might empathize by saying that is so hard. That is just so painful. I'm so glad you're letting it out. It's okay to have your feelings. That's an empathic statement. You can use this, write it down, use it. It's okay to have your feelings, let it out. That makes sense how you feel. Oh, that's so hard. I'm giving you a cheat sheet of empathic statements to make. And so when we offer empathy, that's when healing really takes place. When we offer empathy, healing takes place. When we hold empathic, open-hearted space for someone with a tuned presence, and the masks I know make it hard because you're missing part of that facial expression. When someone holds that space tenderly and looks at you with loving eyes, healing takes place. The nervous system and the brain heal itself. The nervous system and the brain heal itself. It knows what to do. Trust that that person knows what they need when you're just holding the space. You don't have to come up with all the solutions. Process here. Let's recap it. Okay. Write it down. If you can't, go back and listen to this a couple of times. PAP, process, acknowledgement, then possibilities. Don't start with problem solving people's problems. It's not problems, they're invitations, they're symptoms. And when we let the symptom be the symptom, guess what happens? When we hold the space, they go deeper. That's what we need. We need more depth. No more just pushing it down and going, I'm fine, it's all good, and making it look like a pretty Instagram story. No, let's be real. That is what we're all thirsty for, realism, authentic. When someone will say, I'm angry, I say, and what else do you feel? What else is there? And they might just say, I'm angry. And fine, let's just sit with anger then for a little bit. It's what we do with our emotions. Are I hot potatoing it to somebody else? Unprocessed pain gets projected onto somebody else, which means it gets hot potatoed, thrown to them. Then they're carrying my pain. Really, what I've done is I've doubled the pain. I'm still in pain, and now they're in pain. So that is why I emphasize doing your own work. So you don't hot potato unconsciously or consciously your pain to somebody else and make it their job to carry. It's not their job to carry. It's your job to heal it. It's your job to tend to it. As children, it was our parents' job to be the empathic witness. It was our parents' job. They didn't know this. They didn't get the memo. They didn't have all this information to process, acknowledge, and then step into possibilities with us. If you're not doing your own work, you won't be able to do this with your kids or your partner or your friends. You will jump in and try to save. You won't have the capacity to hold the space and listen if you're not doing your own work, because there's parts of you that need attention. There's parts of you that need healing. There's parts of you that say, I have these unmet needs. And if you have a lot of unmet needs and you're not tending to them, you will blame, shame, and make somebody else responsible. You will. And that's called victim mentality. And when you step into empowerment, that feels so much better than victim mentality. And you have it within you to do this work. You have it within you to do the healing because your brain and body know what to do to heal itself. Start by processing what you're feeling. Write it out to get it out. You can get the free journal at kristendboyce.com. Throw in your email address and it's emailed right to your inbox. Start there. There's a tool out there. You got to work the tools. It's one thing to listen to a podcast, and it's another thing to actually implement and make changes in your life. Take what I'm saying and put it into motion. That would look like identifying your core emotions, where you feel it in your body, connecting to those feelings, stepping more into authenticity, which means your truth, being honest about it, stepping into reality, taking responsibility, and acknowledging what's really going on. No more pretending, no more pleasing, no more placating, no more performing, no more perfecting. Although those will be a pattern for you, it's a possibility when you are aware. That's what helps us make change, is that awareness. It's the first step to change. So once you become aware, there's the empowerment, there's the freedom. And you writing it out to get it out is an essential part of knowing yourself. When you know yourself, you can be aware of your triggers. You can breathe through that. You can breathe through these emotions and you can tolerate and regulate yourself. You can tolerate and regulate. So one of the things I'm inviting you into is decide one thing you're going to work on. It might be the breathing, that you're going to breathe every hour, 4 to 5 breaths. As I take a breath, you'll see me all around my house breathing. I mean, literally, I do it all the time. You may decide that you're going to just get curious about what you're feeling emotionally and put these core emotions up on the mirror. You may decide that you're going to start using I feel statements with those core emotions in there rather than I feel like you, which is a statement and a judgment. Doesn't land well. That's not being vulnerable. That's a judgment and a statement. That's not stepping into vulnerability. Stepping into vulnerability is using the core emotions, especially fear and sadness communicating those are very vulnerable. So you may decide, I'm going to step more into authenticity and vulnerability. And I'm going to start now. And my word for 2021 is authentic. You go. That's awesome. So decide, make a decision that you're going to do one thing. And it might be just this process. You might be doing PAP, process acknowledgement possibilities. You might decide, I'm going to work on wait. I'm going to wait and then wait some more when someone's talking instead of jumping in and interrupting or trying to fix, rescue, and save. Why am I talking? I'm going to wait. That might be your one thing. You might decide, I'm going to take this journaling and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to see what comes out. I'm going to notice my emotions, my thoughts, and my body sensations, and I'm going to write about that. You might decide, I'm going to do a gratitude journal, and that might be your one thing, that you're going to write 5 things in the morning, 5 things at night. You might decide, I'm going to do some more movement. I might walk. Whatever that looks like for you, decide one thing, because if you do the same thing, you've heard this saying before, you're going to get the same results, which is the definition of insanity. We all do this, by the way, because we're humans. I'm really inviting you in to do one thing and write it down, put it up, carry it with you, and make a commitment to yourself to do this deeper work. Start being more vulnerable and authentic. Start deeper conversations with people that are available and thirsty for this too. Share this episode and say, hey, you want to be my accountability partner to do the one thing? And maybe you guys meet once a month, twice a month, once a week, and you go over, how's your one thing going? Grab an accountability partner. There's power in that, power in doing the work with other people. So 2020, the year end, we're almost at the end. Do some reflection work. What did you learn? What was hard? What did you get out of it? What is the invitation for you? What is speaking to your soul? What keeps pulling at you? What keeps whispering at you? What keeps shouting at you? And it might be your body. It might be this one thing that keeps coming up over and over and over in your life that you decide, you know what? It's time. It's time for me to take a look and make a commitment to myself. So you may need to listen to this a couple of times. PAP, process acknowledgement possibilities. It's possible for you to heal. It's possible for you to change something in your life. It's possible for you to disrupt a pattern. I promise you, I work at this every day. Is it easy? No. Is it fun all the time? No. And I wouldn't change it. I am thirsty to keep going because it changes my relationships with others and with myself. So I want to encourage you. I'm your cheerleader. I'm just like, yes, keep going. You got this. And thank you for sharing this and subscribing to the podcast and writing reviews and starting a movement towards mental health and wellness, not just physical health. It's mental health needs to be more important, in my opinion, even more important than physical health, because the mental health transcends to the physical health. Thank you for listening to this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you, or not seeing you, but being with you. I wish I could see you all. That would be great, because we all need to see faces right now, given the sense of isolation people are feeling. So anyways, you can join the Close the Chapter Facebook community. You'll see some faces there. My YouTube channel, Kristen Boyce there. Facebook and Instagram, you can see my face there. Not that you need to see my face, but if you need to see a face and connect, there's so much content out there under Kristen D. Boyce. Feel free to just listen to these previous episodes, skip the ones that don't resonate, listen to the ones that do, and decide you're going to put yourself first in doing your healing work. You are worth it. You matter. You're important. And you are enough. Until next time, have a good rest of your week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Close the Chapter podcast. My hope is that you took home some actionable steps along with motivation, inspiration, and hope for making sustainable change in your life. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button to be sure to get the updated episodes every week and share with a friend or a family member. For more information about how to get connected, visit Kristen, Kristen, D, Boyce, BOICE.com. Thanks and have a great day.